I'm Shelley Hardy, Shelley Hardy. Can I start? Here we are, finally, the day of judgment for Dale Warner. Some things in life, no matter how young or old, we can't understand why. Life and death, two most important things that happen to every single one of us. We never know when we are chosen to leave this earth, but I have learned that the horrific word murder is not one we can ever imagine would happen in a lifetime. Our minds have been chosen to go somewhere that is not normal or comfortable to be included in that club. Dale, you have taken Dee from us when I so wished you would have turned and walked away. You not only destroyed all of our lives, but also the lives of your children and families, and You not only destroyed all of our lives, but also the lives of your children and families, and especially Angelina's. You took her mother from her. I only hope that every night when you close your eyes, you see the beautiful face and smile of Dee, and that her image then turns to her lifeless body, nose and mouth duct tape. Remember that last image. We will keep her alive in our hearts, her laughter and love of life, that you will never be able to have control of her again, and knowing that you will never be free again to walk on our land or your land again, but hopefully will be your judgment for your life in prison. Dee knew we would fight to the end, and we won. And now I'm going to remove my bracelet that I've worn since Dee was missing, because we got justice. Thank you.
I'm Raquel Bach, Rikkelbock. Okay. Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Raquel, and I am Dee's youngest adult daughter. I am also the mother of 3 of Dee's beautiful grandchildren. My mom was blessed to meet 2 of them, but my youngest will only know her through the stories we share. She was my first child care provider for my older 2 children, and caring for her grandchildren brought her so much joy. After her tragic death, I was left without child care for my 6-month-old baby, and my siblings had to help me pick up the pieces. That is just one of many ways her loss continues to affect our family every single day. I have thought long and hard about what to say after all these years of living through this living nightmare. The question that always has stayed with me is why. Unfortunately, I now believe the answer is selfishness and greed. The only thing Dale cared about more than himself was money, and that is why we are here today. Dale was nothing without my mom. She was the force behind everything he now wants to claim as his own. She was a force that he could no longer control, and because of that, he took her life. He stalked, manipulated, and preyed on the very person he was supposed to love and protect, his own wife. He brutally beat her, strangled her, and then, as if that was not enough, he duct taped her hands and mouth. He wrapped her in tarp and hid her in a tank and tried to conceal the truth of who he really was. The cruelty did not end there. He cut off all communication between my little sister and the rest of our family. He made her believe that her own mom had simply walked out of her life to start a new one in another country. The trauma he has caused that child is something she may never fully recover from. He took away a beautiful soul, a mother, a grandmother, a sister, an aunt, and a friend. He left his own young daughter without both a mother and a father. He left 4 adult children without her mother and 7 young grandchildren without their grandmother. Our mother was the foundation of our family and a source of strength for so many others. She was our protector, our supporter, and our motivator, and our best friend. Her death created a pain and burden that none of us will ever fully recover from. We're all still trying to learn to live without her. My mom's name, Dee Hardy, will live in our hearts and our community for an eternity, but Dale Warner's name will be gone forever. The emotional and mental damage Dale has caused, especially to our youngest sister, is something that can never be repaired. Throughout this entire investigation and trial, he has shown no remorse and taken no accountability for his actions. He deserves no mercy now. My mom does not get a second chance at life, and neither should Dale. Your Honor, we ask that you use your best judgment in sentencing Dale and impose the maximum sentence allowed for the crimes he has been convicted of. He did not just take the life of his wife, he took the mother of 5, a grandmother, and the heart of our family. Thank you.
Hi, my name is TJ Bach, TJ B-O-C-K. It's almost over now. Dale Warner will no longer have control or influence over anything that matters. The damage he has caused will take years to repair. Some will recover slowly, others never will. There are people whose lives were altered, whose futures diminished because of his selfish and deliberate actions. And then there's our mother, Dee. He took her life. He tried to erase her, but he failed. She was more than just a person. She was the force behind everything he became. He cannot destroy what she created, the lives she shaped, the relationships she built, and the passion she poured into everything. In killing her, he did not just destroy our family, he exposed himself. Before Mom, Dale struggled. He lived in a camper and barely could turn a profit on the bit of land that he worked. When she came into his life, she built something with him. She handled the details he ignored. She created stability. She gave him the opportunity to succeed. Everything he became was because of her. And when he killed her, he proved he could never replicate what she was. Instead, he dismantled what she built. He sold off her assets. He took out loans in her name, even months after her death. His actions were not just violent, but calculating and self-serving. Dale doesn't take responsibility. He manipulates, he distorts reality, and he shifts the blame. He involved his own children and family in this deception, pulling them into his lies, using them to cover the truth, and turning them against the people who refuse to believe him. And while I'm angry, I also recognize this. They are victims too. They were manipulated, used, and in some cases implicated in the crimes. The truth they now face is dramatic and lasting. Some still cannot accept it. The denial will cost them relationships, opportunities, and maybe their place in the broader community. Dale Warner was not always just the defendant to me. He was my stepfather. I did not come to this truth easily. I searched for answers. I resisted. I did not want to believe he was capable of this, just as I did not want to believe my mother would ever leave without saying a word to us. But only one of these things was true. And I know my mother's love. Dale does not hurt people out of anger. He hurts them for control. People only have value to him as long as they serve his goals. When my mother no longer did, when she wanted independence, he made a choice. He chose to kill her. He chose to destroy our family. And he chose to lie about it. He prolonged our pain as long as he could. Now the truth is known, his influence is gone, and thankfully his freedom is now gone too. If he is ever considered for parole, I will be there, I will speak, I will write, I will do everything in my power to make sure he's not released. There's no place in society for someone who can take the mother of her young child and leave her to question whether that love was ever real. He shows no remorse for the harm he causes, only for the consequences he faces. This is not something that time will fix. This is not something that a person will ever age out of. That is why I'm asking for the maximum possible sentence. For my mother, for the victims, and for future victims. Thank you.
Your Honor, in the interest of the court, I would like to briefly state the effects of the criminal actions of Dale.
Sorry, I'm sure I just need you to state your full names.
I'm sorry. Parker Hardy, Parkerhardy. Criminal actions that Dale John Warner had on myself and on my family, more importantly. Since the day he murdered my beautiful aunt, I felt an unease of staying at my home that I have lived in for over 10 years, and the farm that I have been at almost every day of my 31 short years. Living only 1 mile away from my aunt's property and being the only son of the man who pushed tirelessly for justice, I felt as though myself and my farm were on the front lines of a long, drawn-out battle. Every night for over 3 years, until he was finally arrested, I restlessly tried to sleep, with one eye open because of the fear of what Dale Warner would do next. Unfortunately, over those next 3 years, while it will never be proven, unfortunately, I know for the fact that Dale Warner proceeded to attempt to torture myself and my family by violently vandalizing the very farm that was bringing justice to his wife and proving him guilty. Dale, I know every act of vandalism you did to try to cause harm and pain to my family. Killing my aunt apparently wasn't enough in your mind. You needed to dig deeper, didn't you? Slashing bales, cutting fence wire so cattle would get out on the roads and be harmed, unchaining gates, throwing rocks and fence wire into our hay fields, and finally your ultimate senseless act of burning my barn and office to the ground, while I was right across the street from it. Thank God my senses were on point that night, because I knew you were after me when I ran out of that house to save my cattle as they burned alive, trapped in the very barn that you set ablaze. Unfortunately for you, Dale, you didn't win. As a matter of fact, I should thank you for giving me the opportunity to make Dee's home farm more beautiful than it's ever been before. Since your vicious acts of arson, I have not only completely remodeled the farm, but I've installed the most state-of-the-art security system money can buy. I can see every inch of that farm, including the very path you used to walk from Dee's house to the dairy you set ablaze. Your Honor, this man has drove me almost to the point of seeking medical attention. Unknown to anyone, I even made the appointment, but canceled it the day before, because my beautiful aunt came to me in spirit and told me to never let that psychopath win. And I didn't. Your Honor, I ask that you use every ounce of power you have and sentence this man with the strongest sentence to prison possible. If he were to get out alive, I can promise you the first place he will head is for revenge on the very farm he burnt down before. I ask that you see that he is taken far, far away from this hometown so that the family isn't able to visit him. After all, it's only fair, isn't it? There is no visitation for us in heaven until the good Lord calls us there. Thankfully, he won't be calling you there, Dale. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm Greg Hardy, Greggory, Ray, R-A-Y, Hardy. Ms. Chartier, your legal comments have helped me to state that Dale John Warner, you're a narcissistic, psychopathic liar and murderer. Your lack of any remorse for brutally killing my sister is unforgivable and deserves to be punished by the fullest extent of the law, and you certainly deserve more. The barbaric act of covering up your crime by welding my sister in a cold steel tomb is beyond human. You maliciously went to all ends to lie, deceive everyone about the murder you committed. These deceptive acts fully express that you preemptively planned this vicious act well before you committed the heinous crime. And even though the jury was not given enough information and evidence to officially convict you, it certainly was premeditated. Your sneaky retribution you imposed on me and my family simply because I refused to buy your disgusting story about my beautiful sister just left you, that's criminal in itself. The vengeance acts of vandalism that you committed against me and my family that have gone unadjudicated are blatant and criminal. The economic damage you imposed on me, not to mention the emotional fear you attempted to impose on me and my family in your quest to get me to stop seeking justice for Dee, is outrageous. You are a spineless piece of human debris.
Okay, Mr. Hardy, I'm going to ask you to confine your comments to addressing the court and,
I'm sorry.
as I said, not engage in that kind of behavior.
I'm sorry. To the court, I only hope that the only way Dale Warner is able to leave prison is in a small dark box. May God absolutely have no mercy on him whatsoever. Thank you.